Tom Leonard, born 1994 in Glasgow, Scotland, is best known for his poems written in Glaswegian dialect. In 1984 he released Intimate Voices, a selection of his work from 1965 onwards, including poems and essays on William Carlos Williams and the nature of the hierarchical diction in Britain. It shared the award for Scottish Book of the Year and yet was banned from Central Region School libraries. Peter Manson in the Poetry Review claimed the poems speak so precisely and with such fierce analytical wit that they trance their status as poems and become part of the shared apparatus. We used to think with, I don't know any other contemporary poetry of which that is so true. His poem The 6 O'Clock News from Unrelated Incidents is compulsory study for an AQA English Language GCSE qualification in England, Wales and Northern Ireland.
Tone and ideas. Is the poet arguing that this is actually the way the media think about us? He believes that the media sees the viewers in Glasgow, or indeed the viewers in most other parts of Britain, as scruffs. Do you think this is fair? The humour has a satirical edge. It uses humour to make serious criticism. Finally, do you think things have changed since 1976, when the poem was written? Are BBC newsreaders still chosen for their BBC accent? What does a Scottish accent in a TV commercial, for example, say about itself?
The poem seems to be spoken by a BBC newsreader. He or she explains why the BBC thinks that it's important for the newsreader to speak with a BBC accent. He or she speaks here in the accent of an ordinary speaker, just the kind of voice a newsreader is projecting. A newsreader would never really reveal his or her prejudice directly to the viewer in this way. So what the newsreader says in this poem perhaps needs to be seen as an unspoken message of the way the news is presented.
Structure and language. The poem is carefully written in a phonetic version of the Glaswegian accent. If you pronounce it exactly as it's written, it should sound more or less like a Glaswegian voice. The poet has played with the language in a number of ways. Apart from the phonetic spelling, there is almost no punctuation. There are lots of slang words such as scruff and belt up. The newsreader talks directly to the reader. How do these features add to the effectiveness of the poem? For example, there is a mismatch between the conventional image of BBC newsreaders and what this one is saying, calling the viewers use scruff and telling them to belt up. The lines of the poem are very short. What effect does this have? Does it make the poem sound serious or amusing?
This is the 6 o'clock news, the man said, and the reason I talk with a BBC accent is because you wouldn't even want me to talk about the truth with a voice like one of you scruff. If I talked about the truth like one of you scruff, you wouldn't think it was true. Just one of you scruff talking. There's a right way to spell and a right way to talk. This is me talking your right way of spelling. This is my truth. You don't know the truth yourself because you can't talk right. This is the 6 o'clock news. Bell top.
Nice one.
Right.